皆さんどうも、ライトと申します。Hi, I'm Light and welcome. Today we will be starting the series on kanji, Japanese kanji called Kanji Café. This is the name of the book and the series. On YouTube it's going to be free, 20 kanji per episode, starting right now. Now, 3 ways learning kanji is number 1, constant exposure. Number 2 is the mnemonics. And number 3 is we want to write just a little once or twice with the stroke order, right? So that we use all our senses as much as possible in order to study kanji fast and efficiently. If you want this actual spiral book, this is book 1, the first 440 kanji book. The other books will be released, but if you just check in the description, we have the PDF and Anki file or the spiral book, which is very strong and durable. The pages are thicker than usual. The cover page is laminated and it's pretty thick. It's really great. And because it's a spiral book, you can just fold it like so and put it on your desk, put your writing book or notebook next to you, and voila. Now if you want to, let's say, write on your app, that's also like the Anki, for example, you can just write on the go on your app. But if you want to take a break from the screen and get an actual book, then you might think about, which pen is the best to use when doing kanji. Now, in my experience, if you take, let's say, these 2 pens. So this one is a 3-in-1. You have black, red, and blue. Great for, mixing up things, and blue is great for memorization. And if you like yellow, for me personally, it's difficult to see yellow. I don't prefer green on the page. So these 3 colors, great. But 0.5, that's great if you want to start out. Like later on, when you get to more complicated kanji, for example, over here, right? And you want to follow the stroke order at the bottom, then you have to be careful what you use, because only then the 0.38 is perfect for me. This is an erasable pen, so I can erase it at any moment. And it's blue, so it's great for my mind to actually kind of work harder. Now, first 440, we have mnemonics, vocabulary, stroke order, the readings like the on and kun. There are also special readings, right? We can't include 100% all the readings because Japanese it's a puzzle. You put it together in your mind. And the JLPT level if you're into that. Now, I want to say it's stating here how to use and the study method. But right now in this video series, we're going to do 20 per episode. And starting off, we have the first grade 1 kanji, which is the first 80. This is following the school education system for the 2136. And then we have a few more kanji for rare names and things like that. They throw you in the country on signs and things. So we want to start with 1, we want to end with 80, and then after this we will see the next sheet for grade 2 and for grade 3 and so forth. Just take it from the left. Many of you might know this already, but we have to start here because we want to get all the mnemonics and don't miss the basics. Right? If you get confused between left, right, and stone, hidari, migi, ishi, and up and down and things like that, we want to make sure you understand the mnemonics going forward. And right here we have the N5 JLPT, the number. So we start with this kanji. In this 20 we're going to do, I'm going to do it very quickly because obviously this is free. If you want to study more in depth, you can get it in the description. And just to refresh your memory maybe, or to show you how easy it is to kind of memorize kanji if you get that exposure, if you just write it down once or twice, and if you put in the daily routine, the work, right? Now, starting off, we have 1 in blue, 1, a single. On is the Chinese reading, we have the Japanese reading, we have the stroke order, which we're going to use over here. For this video, the sake of the video, I'll just use a thicker one, maybe you can see it better. And on the right, we have 1 mnemonic, so 1 finger you're holding out because it's ichi. So ichi is the reading over here. So what we want to do is when we write there's a red dot here. We want to start there. When we write the kanji and we memorize the mnemonic, then we want to do them together. So you want to say one finger you're holding out, so ichi, ichi, ichi. You can also have a look at the radical, which is kind of the origin of the kanji, or giving you like a sense if it's water or if it's ground or grass or something like that. But for this video's sake, I'm just going to quickly go through the mnemonics and the meaning and perhaps some of the stroke orders. So we have 1 over there, ichi. Next we have number 2, 7, right? So for number 7, I prefer this mnemonic over here. Someone sitting, L, showing 7 on clock with arm. So you can see someone showing here kind of arm pointing up, sitting, the L shape, pointing at it's 7 on the clock. Easy. You can see you want to start off, kind of make a skew line, and then this next row. Okay, I'm not going to write everything because I believe I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to do it as efficiently as possible. Number 3. So here we have down, right? So if you have down over here, we start off with a top line, then over here, and then this line over here, and the mnemonic reads to, right? To in katakana. So to in katakana is very similar. You can just see there's a kind of a gap over there. So we have a T bar with a to handle bending down. It looks like a T. So that's actually number 2. Letter T spits down to the right side. We have letter T spitting down, right? And there you have that one. That's simple. We have number 4, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now we have a nice interesting mnemonic over here. So 3 lines similar to hourglass shape. Bottom is broader to stand up safely, right? You can see it looks like the hourglass shape. Sakura-san, reading is sung over here. Ichi, ni, san. Has the hourglass body. Big chest, slim waist, and huge hips indicate stroke length. So we have long, short, and longest. Don't confuse. Right, and then next we have up or above. So the mnemonic reads a T-bar sticking out above the ground or the line. The toe is bent up. So here we have the toe bent up, like it's straight, it's not going down. And this is the ground. And yeah, so stroke order. Pretty easy. Now what you want to do after each page, you just want to scroll through and say, what did we learn? Like to refresh. This is 1, ichi. This is 7, pointing at the clock, nana or shi. Depending on your exposure method, you have to get constant exposure to know all the readings on on and kun, right? You don't want to study the on and kun readings individually, like here. You want to be aware of the readings and get constant exposure through daily reading. I have Anki decks in the description for JLPT in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you want to do daily drillings, it's like sentences, listening, or if you want to just get a book you like on Amazon or something your level you enjoy, do that every single day, right? And here we have down, right? We have the T spitting down. We have 3, the hourglass. And then here we have up. So up is the ground with a toe with a bend upwards, above. Good. Now, next, just have a broad look at the kanji. See if you can spot parts, what you've learned before. For example, nope, not really. Okay, we have 2 lines. Previously we had 1 and 3. Okay, you can see a 3 in here, but the length maybe differs a bit. And then here we don't know this yet. So going through this, number 6, in, middle, inside, center, while. At the top we have extra information you have to read, or what we've done before, so it's a reminder. Here we can see kanji for mouth also looks like open mouth or a brick. this line equals used here as a sharp nail. So this line. Hit the nail basically in the brick. And here we have in. Hit the nail in the brick. Is a mnemonic number 2. While conducting a speech, someone puts finger on mouth. So you have the mouth and the finger over here for while. Now obviously the first most important meaning is in, but sometimes we will do another mnemonic or another meaning. Just make one connection. I would say just make one kind of mental note and then take it from there. You don't have to know everything 100%. You want that constant exposure. So 9, later on actually you forget the mnemonics and then you just instantly know the meaning. Right. 9, okay, we have someone holding lash. So it looks like someone standing over there, like a genie kind of effect with arms. Or you can say the katakana for na, right? To order the queue of 9. Someone holding lash over here. This is the lash. To order the queue. Queue is here, the reading. Okay, when you count. Number 2, kanji 10. This is 10 in brackets. Would say anything in brackets after whatever is the meaning or what I'm referring to. So kanji 10, the plus sign, starts to break, leaning to right using bent stick. You can see over here, bent stick. To keep up. Its value decreases from 10 to 9 while making the Q sound breaking down. This is kind of complicated, but this is also a very valid one if you know the kanji for 10, which is a plus. So the first one, someone holding a lash to order the queue of 9 people. So queue of 9. That's pretty simple. I would say the second one, for me, it makes a lot of sense. It sounds confusing now, like seeing it maybe from someone else's perspective. If you have your own mnemonic for your own, something in your life, your experience in life, which is fitting better, write it over here. Make a note of it. It's much better than any other mnemonic out there. If it's your own, it's also amazing. Next we have number 8, 2 over here. So just 2 lines, you can remember it like that, but it's short and long. So over here we have 2 fingers, index and middle. The middle finger is longer below, so basically we hold it like so. Or number 2, we have 2 knees, ni, one of the readings over here, ni. When you count, you say each ni. We have 2 knees. Number 9 is 5. Number 5, go. Go, right? Mnemonic is looks like, so I'm going to read the mnemonic. Looks like a walking person. So here's the body. So use 3 horizontal strokes. 1, 2, 3. For head, arm, and ground. And 2 vertical strokes. 1, 2. For the body and short stick, like a cane. Now the mnemonic is person over here. Person in his or her 50s. So here the 5 is in blue, right, for 50s. Person in his or her 50s hiking with short stick, because knees are important. Let's go. 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 Go is the reading, right? Go. Go. So that's pretty simple. Next is 10. We have person, human being. Now you have to kind of memorize the mnemonics going forward, because later on they will be kanji looking very similar. For example, we have person, human being. Now here, note, looks like a skinny person. the kind of no, katakana no, right? Looks like a skinny person walking to the right, kicking out legs. Yeah, skinny person walking to the right, leaning forward, and here kicking out the legs. Now, number one, we have that skinny person walking to the right is a human. Person, human. Good. Now, you have to be careful. Later on, we have, let me quickly just use this one. We have human, so human, and later on we also have to enter. Now, these two kanji really differ, right? So we have human, where this side is longer, and we have to enter when this side is shorter, you see? So really pay attention to the mnemonics and the length of the strokes. So how I personally memorize it is the human comes first. Over here, it looks kind of like a human entering the tent on the right side, which is the zip. But we'll get to that soon. So this is number 10, right? Next, obviously we're going to do a broad overview of the kanji, and then if you know that, we go to the next kanji. Now, here we have rest or day off. Over here on the left, we have the radical for person. We've just covered person, right? And how you can write person is you have a person like so. You have a person like so. It looks like the katakana for I, right? It becomes a variant. We have a person like so. Okay. And these are all persons, like human. And we'll get to the others soon, but right now we're focusing on this. So in order to make this kanji part of other kanji, they kind of like shrink it and make it a variant. Now they take that variant and they put another kanji with it. In this case, we have the kanji for tree. And if you look at the radical, this is why learning a radical is very important. Later on, you want to look at the radical kind of first when you read the kanji. So you have human. So they put the radical here as a human doing something. In this case, the human is like resting or is taking a day off. So it's not to do with water, it's not to do with a tree, it's to do with the radical, which is the main part, the human, right? Now going forward, you can just kind of scan the kanji and read it very quickly when you scan the radical, right? It can sometimes be at the left or the top, or the kanji can be the radical itself if it's simple. So yeah, just go with the flow from one all the way up. Rest, day off, we have radical for person. We have tree. So tree, how do you memorize the tree? A cross, over here the cross, with a branch growing on both sides is a tree, the branches. So we have a person on the left taking rest under the tree. Number 12, ahead, before, previous, future. Pretty complicated, but when you break it up, at the top we have ground, dirt, cross in ground. That's how you memorize that. A cross in the ground. And next we have human legs over here. Human legs. So right through every kanji we see this, we're going to refer to it as human legs or ground. So if you start off with the mnemonics, later on it gets much faster, right? So we have human legs. You can memorize it 1, 2 legs, and this one is kind of like a hook. We just refer to it as human legs, right? So in previous life you were dirty. So we have the ground at the top. You were dirty, full of ground. Running, here with our human legs. Hunting food with spear. The spear is the small line here at the top. You can see it's kind of looking like someone holding it, or on the ground we have the spear over there. Looks like someone hunting with a spear. Now you're ahead of yourself. So we have in your previous life, when you use the spear, now you're ahead. Now this is pretty kind of advanced for a grade 1 kanji, but believe me, if you just do the repetitions, it will be one of the easiest kanji out there. Just ground, human legs, spear. Oh, previous ahead. Next, we have the kanji I wrote down before, enter, go in. Right, so it's not a person. Person is left side is the no, longer. To enter, the mnemonic. To enter the tent from the left with long zip, the zip on the right. Not to be confused with hito, it's written here, or person, which has a longer stroke on the left. Right? So just keep that in mind. Next is we have the kanji for 8. Pretty easy. If we see number 1, we have 8e, 80, 80. So 8 is used here. 80-year-old people have larger noses. Sneezing forces air down left and right side. Okay. Looks like a kind of like a nose of an 80-year-old person. Or mnemonic number 2, an 8-kilometer road ahead getting narrow. Like just looking at an 8-kilometer road gets, you know, narrow over there. Next we have 6. So we can see this is actually used. The 8 is actually used at the bottom, kind of. Here we have the lid, so it can be seen as a lid. Looks like a small stroke at the top, like a lid with a flat, you know, like so. And looks like something you put on a pot, which is a lid. Now number 1, 6-year-old kindergarteners jump when graduating. They're moving to their next 6 years in elementary school. Here we can see, looks like someone jumping. You can see the legs literally separate from the body. That's how happy 6th graders get. 6th graders, excuse me, 6-year-old kids get. Number 2, another mnemonic. We have the lid on frog legs, so they can boil for 6 minutes. The lid on the frog legs, boiling for 6 minutes, depending on what suits you best. Now, the last page, the last 5, this could be all the 20 I'm doing here can be for 4 days, or you can just do 20 in one go. That's how some people do 100 of kanji per day, because they actually sit and take the time to do it. It's not that it's so hard, it's that you actually require the time, right? You have to make some sacrifices here and there. We have yen, round, circle. Now we see this in Japan everywhere with a price. It's like the dollar sign. So looks like bank teller's window. It does, like bank teller's window. There's a small stroke over here. And the mnemonic here reads, at Japanese bank teller's window, they give you round coins in yen. Here we have round and yen, but we pronounce it en in Japanese. So yeah, simple. 17, exit, go out. Now at the top here we have mountain. Connect 3 peak points and you have a mountain. This is the kanji for mountain. Now if you look here, we have 2 mountains stacked on top of each other. And the mnemonic, 2 mountains stacked with tunnel in center. Over here, longest stroke as the exit, which is this one. Number 18, power, strength, strong. A lot of people get a tattoo of this kanji. So same as katakana for ka, which is exactly the same. Depending on the context, you would never use a katakana ka next to the power, strength, strong, this chikara kanji. So hiragana looks similar, but you have this kind of more flow state and this extra stroke. So this kanji has so much power that it's used in hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Yeah, it's a very powerful kanji. Number 19, 10. Now, in this whole series, there's no kind of bad language used. So just keep that in mind. Everything is intended to just make mnemonics interesting and for it to stick. So number 1 is, do Jews wear crosses? A question mark. Ju is the reading over here, right? Number 2, a cross for the 10 commandments. Here's a cross. Or a plus, plus 10, plus 10, 10. Very easy. Now we have the last one, and we can see that the plus is used here with a kind of whoop stroke at the top, meaning 1,000. Now here we have whoop, whipping something from right to left. So from the right side you whip it to the left, exactly like the stroke order, like so. And we have 10 in this kanji. So whip and cross were used 1,000 years ago, said the senator. Sen, a reading. Sen is over here. Sen en is 1,000 yen, for example. So a whip over here and a cross, the plus, were used 1,000 years ago, said the senator. You don't have to memorize the reading if you get that constant daily exposure. That is 20 kanji right now, and if we go back to the sheet, we've just done 20, and it's pretty easy. I recall all the mnemonics instantly right now. And next, we've done till 20. Next, we will do this, and we actually had this one within. Do you remember which kanji we had the mouth over here? So we already know this kanji. We just have to, get to it. We have mouth over there, mouth over there. This is a mouth over here. We've done ground before. Ground. Where do we get that ground at the top here? So the more kanji you know, the more connections you make, and the more or the better you can build the puzzle in your mind. You don't have to perfect everything. You just kind of get the puzzle and more or less put the pieces together working through Kanji Cafe. So I'm going to do the next video very soon. I'm going to try to do one per week. There's a playlist you can check from 1 till 2,500 coming. Or if you want to study much faster on your own free time using the spiral book, I ship it to you, or the PDF file or Anki file on the go. You can study in bed, depending on your choice. You can purchase it there. Thank you for your support, and if you would like to continue with this, right? Because this is ultimately, in my experience and opinion, the best study material for kanji. However, you do need to read every single day something, even if it's hiragana or katakana. Get that constant daily exposure, and listening is as important. Daily listening, if you want to know how to what to listen to, I made a video on that. Have an amazing day. See you in the next video. Mata ne.